Alright everybody, welcome to another Tech Talk Tuesday, and for today's video we're talking about dash pads for your e-body Mopars. Now when you're going to do a dash pad on your e-body Mopar, you've got a few options available to you now. And for me, for the last 23 years in my Challenger, I've had the original dash pad with a cheap dash cap on it, and sure, it made it look presentable, but at the same time it really wasn't correct, and you could tell right away that it wasn't the right thing to do for the car. So finally, after all these years, I went ahead and bit the bullet and decided to pull the dash out of the car, restore the dash, and at the same time take care of the dash pad while I had everything apart. And so when it comes to getting a new dash pad, you've got a couple of options. The one option you go through is one that has an ABS core, and those look good. I went ahead and installed one in my 70 CUDA project about 12 years ago, and it got the job done. It was a good looking dash pad and definitely worked. The downside to the ABS core dash pads is if you're in a hot area like Nevada or Arizona, under the heat from the sun in those areas, the ABS core is likely to warp over time. So for me, I don't live in those areas, but it still gets pretty warm out here, and I wanted to do what was as best as I could for this car right now, and so that was to have an original dash pad redone. So your options for that are either to go with like just dashes and send your dash pad out, have them restore it and send it back to you, but then you've got some downtime, and I don't know what their current rates are for doing a dash pad on an e-body, but I've heard they're quite expensive. The other option is do something like I did, which was to get one that was already redone. So the way this worked is I went ahead and took my original dash pad and took it to my Mopar parts guy, Ed, at the Mopar shop, and turned in that as a core, because otherwise it's like a $195 core charge, and then just did a straight exchange for one that's already been restored. Now, the reason I went with Ed instead of going directly to the source is I've heard a ton of horror stories online and through the forums and Facebook groups about the person who does the remanufacturing of the original pads. And so I figured, you know what, don't worry about dealing with him at the source and any potential issues that I've heard about. I'll just go with a trusted supplier that I know, let him go ahead and deal with the manufacturer and call it a day. And it worked out great. I just drove down to Ed's shop down in Madera and gave him my old one. We pulled out the new one, everything looked great, and it was a done deal. And what's really nice is Ed goes through and hand picks all of the dash pads he gets from the supplier. So that way I know that I'm gonna be getting the best product I can. And so that's what I've got here. And in future videos, we're gonna go ahead and put this back together with the original frame. I've gotta still restore the frame. I've gotta restore the dash bin, and there's a few other things to do, which we'll do in future videos. But for now, let's just go ahead and give you a quick view of how this pad looks. And so that's an overview of what this new dash pad looks like. Later in the future video, after I get the car back together, and we're probably next spring, I'm gonna take it over to my buddies, and so we can do a side-by-side comparison to show how my restored dash compares against some of his original unrestored dash pads, and that way we can get a true apples to apples comparison. And that's today's video. I hope you found this information useful. As always, if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, give us a thumbs up, help us out with that YouTube algorithm. And if you're interested in what detailing products I use to keep my cars looking fresh, or the camera equipment I'm using to make these videos for you guys, click on the description links below. Definitely helps out the channel, keep things coming together for you guys. And if you want to be kept up to date with all my future videos, don't forget to smash that subscribe button down below and ring that notification bell as well, so that way YouTube will keep you up to date of all the videos I do in the future. And as always guys, I will see you the next video.